This week's episode is brought to you by Crown Haven Wealth Advisors, your retirement reimagined. Coming up today on RetireSHIELD TV.
When we think about financial planners, we're thinking about an accumulation stage. When we're thinking about retirement planners, we're thinking about a path for effective distribution. If I were to go to hire a professional for anything, I would want to know, number one, that they have subject matter expertise. Number two, that they care about me, that I'm going to have a relationship with that person. And number three, that they're going to service the relationship with the utmost care and dignity. And the reason we exist is to focus solely on delivering certainty of outcome so they're able to enjoy their lives in retirement in a way that, quite frankly, they couldn't do without working with somebody who has dedicated their professional lives to ensuring that that happens.
Knowing people and building trust. Get on the right path to achieve your retirement goals with Casey Marx and the team at Crown Haven Wealth Advisors. Understand the process and challenges of retirement planning. Discover the keys to a successful retirement.
Hello and welcome to RetireSHIELD TV. I'm consumer advocate Morgan Patrick, and as always, I am joined by the founder and CEO of Crown Haven Wealth Advisors and creator of the RetireSHIELD process, Casey Marx. Casey is not only the author of Baby Boomer Retirement Boot Camp, he is a retirement income certified professional as well as a certified financial fiduciary. It is good to see you, Casey.
It's good to be with you, Morgan.
So today our discussion revolves around major differences between retirement planners and financial planners. And I assume to a lot of people out there, those sound kind of the same. So Casey, is there a difference?
There is a major difference between financial planners and retirement planners, and that's why, and there's a lot of noise out there surrounding what type of advisor you have. But I think the first thing to establish is that retirement planning as a profession, as a specialty, really hasn't been around for much longer than about 20 years. And the reason that it became so important was folks lost pensions.
Sure.
And so now retirement income planning especially is super important. But then that, kind of led to even greater area of expertise, which is not just the income planning component, but it's also the tax planning component, the healthcare planning component, the business succession planning component of it, if you are a business owner, benefits decisions, all of the things that surround retirement planning. And I think the important thing for our viewers to understand is that retirement planning is very much founded and grounded in the academia. It's very much about how do we make numbers work over time, as opposed to financial planning, which is how do we create a path forward for the next 20, 30, 40 years to accumulate resources. Retirement planning is we've gotten to a certain destination, how do we make those resources last? And that's a very different topic of conversation. And what we see folks run into time and time again is they're trying to create a retirement plan oftentimes themselves because their financial planners that they're working with, quite frankly, don't have a focus on retirement planning. And that's as a result of how the industry is comprised. Most people that are considered financial advisors just quite literally don't have that retirement planning expertise. The easiest way to think about this is that retirement planning encompasses financial planning. So in other words, all retirement planners that you're going to work with are going to understand financial planning. We're going to understand investment management. We're going to understand income planning. We're going to understand how taxes affect you, et cetera, et cetera. All financial planners don't necessarily understand retirement, right? They might be able to talk about retirement accounts. They might know what an IRA is, right? But that doesn't mean that they're well versed in the distribution phase of your life, which is a very fancy way of saying that you're going to need to start using your money as income to maintain your standard of living. So really, when we think about financial planners, we're thinking about an accumulation stage or a growth stage of our money. When we're thinking about retirement planners, we're thinking about a path for effective distribution. And how do we do that in the most tax efficient manner? How do we do that in the most secure manner? How do we do that maintaining our buying power with inflation considered?
How it all works together.
How all of that works together. And so it's very much a specialty. And that's why you go to places like the American College of Financial Services and get a retirement income certified professional designation like I did, which amounts to about a 2-year course that, are dozens of courses about all of these separate subtopics, including how Social Security is calculated down to the fraction, right? Like all of these things are very important.
I think about baseball when I think about this scenario. I think about, everybody's familiar with baseball. There's a pitching rotation.
Right.
You have your starters. Now we have our middle relievers.
Yeah.
And then you have your closers.
Right.
So I picture financial planning, man, you're just getting into the game, right?
Yeah, you're a starter.
You're a starter. But then you've got to transition.
Yes.
I mean, you have to have that middle relief, and then you really need the closer.
You really need the closer, and that's a perfect way of saying it. And you could have a starter that's trying to operate as a closer for you, and we are the mid-relievers, we are the closers, and we can come in and help, even if you're working with the starter. And that's quite literally why we're here, is to come in and build the plan for you, to ensure that you finish the game and you win the game.
We all love the game of baseball, and it's just nice to kind of paint that picture because so many people out there, Casey, are struggling.
Yes.
They have their portfolios, and many are out there feeling like, hey, I'm okay, I've got the portfolio, I'm going to get to my retirement age, and then bang, I'm in retirement, I'm going to be okay, when they don't actually have any kind of game plan.
Yeah, and it's not, we can talk about a plan, and what do we imagine when we think about a plan? We think about a bunch of pieces of paper, in order that magically give us some sort of solution. That's not the plan. The plan is, number one, you're going to document it, so you're going to know what the heck's going on. But the real plan is comprised of an expert understanding what exactly it is that you're trying to accomplish, and then implementing the specific tools that allow you to accomplish it, so that then you can get back out there and enjoy your life. That's the real plan. All the written documentation is quite literally the documentation of the execution of that, right? And then why it's important to work with a retirement planner is because the reason they call it planning is because you can have a fantastic plan, but then there are going to be things that occur in your life where you're going to need the services of somebody who's used to working with folks at that stage of their life also. So you could get sick. You could need money for X, Y, or Z. You could decide you want to relocate. There's all these types of things that, quite frankly, a financial advisor is not ready to deal with. And we are.
Think about it. The what-if scenarios, the pivots.
Yeah.
You have to have that open mind, and when you're working with a fiduciary firm, they're going to talk to you, you're going to talk to them about moves that need to be made.
Yes, and we're going to be proactive about it. So half of planning is ensuring that it's set up properly before the unknown unknowns happen. But then we're there to assist and be proactive about things that could occur, but also when things do occur that you didn't see coming, we're there to service you with the utmost care, loyalty, trust, good faith, you name it, so that you stay on track and you're going to be okay. And that's why we're here in the first place. And that's why we spent so much time developing our trademarked process, our RetireSHIELD, because it's so darn important that people know they're going to be okay. It's so darn important that they have a plan that they can rely on. Because, I think about myself. It's like, I've worked for a certain amount of years. I know that I'm not able to pursue some passions that I have because I'm so passionate about this. Well, there are other people that don't get the luxury of being able to do a job that they're passionate about their entire life. So what passions are they leaving behind as they're doing that? The entire reason you get to a point of retirement is to enjoy your life. If you don't have a plan that sets you up for that success, then you don't get to enjoy any of it. And that's really a shame.
Tell you, it's worth a conversation. We are about to take a quick break, but if you want your own personalized RetireSHIELD plan or a free copy of Casey's book, Baby Boomer Retirement Boot Camp, make sure to call the number that's on your screen right now, and one of our representatives will talk with you and set that up for you, or you can visit our website, RetireSHIELD.tv.
Do you know how much you're paying in fees or commissions with your current plan or advisor? What about unnecessary risk or future tax implications? Sit down with a fiduciary advisor at Crown Haven that can help you understand important concepts and so you can make the best decisions for yourself moving forward. We may even be able to answer questions you didn't even know needed to be asked. Take advantage of our complimentary portfolio diagnostic by calling Casey and his team of fiduciary advisors at Crown Haven today.
Hello and welcome back to RetireSHIELD TV. I'm consumer advocate Morgan Patrick, and as always, I am joined by the founder and CEO of Crown Haven Wealth Advisors and creator of the RetireSHIELD process, Casey Marx. Casey is a retirement income certified professional as well as a certified financial fiduciary. Now today we have been discussing retirement planning versus financial planning and why it is so important to understand the differences. So Casey, I would love to hear more about this.
Yeah, so at a very basic level, to kind of review for our viewers, retirement planning is about managing the distribution phase of your life, ensuring that you have enough income to maintain your standard of living, and managing for all of those disparate areas that exist, whether it's healthcare, taxation, inflation, etc. Financial planning is really setting you up, attempting to set you up for success for the first 30, 40, 50, 60 years of your life. So that's budgeting properly, saving at the right rate of return, college planning, making sure you have enough life insurance if you pass away to pay off the mortgage, etc., etc. So it's really accumulation versus distribution. And there are two diametrically opposed areas of financial planning. And retirement planning is a specialty. And the reason we exist is to focus solely on delivering certainty of outcome for our clients to effectively land the plane so they're able to enjoy their lives in retirement in a way that, quite frankly, they couldn't do without working with somebody who has dedicated their professional lives to ensuring that that happens.
Retirement planning versus financial planning, we've talked about it, and we use that analogy of our pitching for our baseball team. We've got a starter, we've got a middle reliever, and then we've got that closer. And if you're in financial planning, you know, we're going to put them in that starter role.
Yeah.
A lot of people have gotten on the mound, so to speak. They have started their financial planning, but to kind of get into the middle to later innings, you need to move. You need to have retirement planning. And then, of course, when you get to the closer, I mean, that's
extremely important.
The big one.
Yeah, and you know, and I think a lot of people feel this in their gut, and this is just, it speaks to the nature of good human beings. They feel loyalty to the people that they've been working with over a long period of time, and that's a wonderful thing. But this is your life, and it's, quite frankly, it's a business decision for your life, and you're the CEO of your own wealth. And the CFO that is working on your behalf should have the requisite skills and ability to implement that skill set to ensure that your Wealth Inc. is going to be there for as long as you're there. And so that's why it's so important to find the right team that's an independent team with the ability to use all of the tools, that's acting in a fiduciary capacity for you, acting in your best interests, that has that insight, has that ability, and has the practical experience to create that plan so that you're able to enjoy your life in the way that you deserve to enjoy your life. And one of the major reasons for that is, you know, in the distribution phase, people are looking at their defined benefits, like Social Security, pensions if they're lucky enough to have them, and realizing that that just doesn't cut it. And so, you know, when we have clients come in and talk to us, you know, a large percentage of our clients are already working with a financial advisor. But number one, they haven't ever had a plan delivered to them from that financial advisor for retirement. Number two, if they've asked, they can hear, a pin drop or crickets because the person doesn't have an answer. Number three, they're having to try to figure it out themselves. So most people get to a point where they realize that they're going to have to create income eventually, and if not for themselves, for their spouse, etc. And then they have to figure out how it all fits together. And what our clients will tell you is that they've found a home where there is a firm that is assembled a team of trusted professionals with a level of subject matter expertise that is basically unrivaled, that is able to lead them down a path to ensure that all of these considerations and worries are just checked off. And then they're able to go about their lives in a meaningful way.
Now, you had a seminal moment in your life, and the reason you're doing this.
Yeah.
And when something happens to family, it's tough. It's tough to watch. But through that fire, so to speak, you came out of this, and you really want to help people because your mom had a tough time.
Well, yeah, and I think it goes back to, and what you're alluding to is my mom lost almost everything she had working with a broker-dealer, trying to make a retirement plan work for herself after my father passed away when I was 15 years old, and I watched that firsthand. And I'm an only child, and I was taught to take care of my mother. What made it even more painful is that I didn't come from money, and my dad certainly didn't come from money. He was born in a small town, Sparta, Wisconsin. He used to shine shoes on Fort McCoy to help his family make ends meet when his father was away at the war. So, my dad knew the value of a dollar. He used to teach me about the value of a dollar. He used to put his money in certificates of deposit in the 90s when you could get a 7-8% return. And then when he passed away, what happened was my mom went to the place that she thought she could trust and then swiftly lost over 50% of her money.
Wow.
That's devastating, and it's ironic on multiple levels. And when it comes to what my mom actually needed help with, she needed help with all the things that we created the RetireSHIELD for. She needed to know where she was going to get secure income to replace her employment income. She needed to have investment management that was in complete alignment with her capacity to take that risk, which is totally different than her tolerance, by the way. She needed to know how she was going to be able to pay the least amount of taxes that are legally and ethically viable. She needed help with benefits decisions. She needed help with long-term care planning. She needed help with legacy and estate planning, because at that time she was worried about me, right? So then I asked myself, well, why isn't the financial industry helping my mom? And the sad answer was she didn't meet the minimum economic requirements for them to try to compose a team of professionals to help her. In other words, she didn't have enough money. That'll upset you.
And
right?
The light bulb goes off.
Yeah, and then I said, I'm going to create a firm that's going to offer those services to everyone who needs it, regardless of asset size. Like, we're just going to be there. And I thought that that was going to be a very, very successful business model. And you know what? It's been the most fulfilling thing I've done in my life. We have grown an organization that the people in our organization are extremely good human beings. They care a great deal about the client outcome, and we're able to deliver. And honestly, it allows me to put a piece of my soul back, because I wish I would have been able to save my mom before it happened. So every single time I work with a client, I get to live vicariously through that client.
Sure.
And deliver an outcome that I wish I would have been able to deliver for my own family. So it's extremely personal to me.
Okay, you hear the passion, you hear the commitment. With that, we're about to take a quick break. But before we do, I wanted to remind you to join the thousands of Hoosiers out there that have already shielded their retirement with a personalized RetireSHIELD plan. Our lines are open now, and they will remain open, so call the number on your screen and talk to one of our representatives, and they will get you signed up. You can also visit our website, RetireSHIELD.tv, for your own personalized RetireSHIELD plan or a free copy of Casey's book, Baby Boomer Retirement Boot Camp.
Do you hear that? That's me enjoying my retirement, traveling around the world to play golf where I want, when I want, with whomever I want. Because years ago, I rolled over my IRA with the help of the local independent and trusted fiduciary team of advisors at Crown Haven.
Welcome back to RetireSHIELD TV. I'm consumer advocate Morgan Patrick, and as always, I am joined by the founder and CEO of Crown Haven Wealth Advisors and creator of the RetireSHIELD process, Casey Marx. Casey is a retirement income certified professional as well as a certified financial fiduciary. So the focus of our conversation today has been on the differentiating retirement planning from financial planning and emphasizing just the importance of recognizing how they are indeed different.
Yes, and that's the genesis of our RetireSHIELD. And that's quite literally why we created it. And I spoke briefly in the last segment about the reason I got into this industry in the first place, having watched the dramatic losses that occurred in my mother's portfolio and the fire that lit and the passion that still remains to this day. But quite literally, the RetireSHIELD is the sum total of all the knowledge that I wish I would have had to help her. And it boils all the way down to the written documentation, which are about 90 custom pages that we deliver to folks, so that if God forbid that were to happen to somebody else, whoever cares about that human being is able to pick up that binder, that leather-bound binder, and know exactly what's going on, why it's happening, what it means for the family, and how they're able to move forward.
Let's walk them through it. I mean, the RetireSHIELD, it's gonna solve the issue. That's what people want. They want an answer to their problem.
Yeah. Well, how we walk through the scope of work is we first understand you. We call that a relationship visit. Our goal is to build a relationship based on trust and shared values. If I were to go to hire a professional for anything, I would want to know, number one, that they have subject matter expertise. Number two, that they care about me, that I'm going to have a relationship with that person. And number three, that they're going to service the relationship with the utmost care and dignity. So that's what the relationship visit's all about. It's for us to explore how we can work together and for us to understand what you're trying to accomplish as a human being. And I think that's the most important part of it. We understand that you're a human being. We understand that you're a unique human being and that you have unique goals, desires, maybe unique fears to you based on your family history, what you've already experienced with other advisors, what you're trying to accomplish for yourself. We then go through a list of pretty common questions that we try to ask from a qualitative basis. What matters to you? What do you enjoy doing? What does your ideal retirement look like? What does money mean to you? How do you view money? What do you view as obstacles to your success right now? What's keeping you up at night? What would you prioritize on a list of a hierarchy of needs? And it's different than Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's more for retirement planning. But, if we were to prioritize, safety of principal, growth to outpace inflation, supplemental income and cash flow, liquidity, paying less in taxes, paying less in costs, where would you list those? What's most important to you? Okay, once we understand who you are and what you're trying to accomplish, then we do a diagnostic visit. The diagnostic visit is really where the rubber meets the road. My team and I spend about 3 to 4 hours on each customized diagnostic, and what we're doing there is we're analyzing your current portfolio to determine whether or not that portfolio is in complete alignment with what you've already said are your desires. And what literally 9 out of 10 clients that come into our firm to do a diagnostic report back to us is that there's never been a financial professional that's taken the time to first understand who they are and then explain to them whether or not that plan is in alignment with who they are on a personal level. Then we show you data and we say, okay, based on the facts, this is doing this really well, this is doing this really well, this is an area of concern, this is a threat for this, and then we show it to you in black and white. One of our core values at our firm is to be completely transparent. I'm not going to tell you the time, I'm going to teach you how the clock is built. And there's a funny thing that happens in retirement planning, or financial planning for that matter, when you're not afraid to show people how the system works. I'm not afraid to lift the curtain for folks because what we're doing is very beneficial. The folks that are afraid to lift the curtain usually don't know what they're talking about or are trying, to sell you something, quite frankly. So we're going to show you how all of the facts line up and whether or not they're in alignment with your stated goals and intentions.
And what I'm hearing, Casey, too, is in these meetings, it's not like you sit in this chair a little bit higher than them and
No.
you dictate to them. You're not doing that. You're communicating.
Yeah.
You're creating the initial relationship.
This is a collaborative effort. You deserve somebody who's going to listen to you. You deserve somebody who's going to hear what you have to say and then put into place an action plan so that you can achieve exactly what you're looking to achieve. Again, if I were to hire a professional, what would I want? I'd want them to listen to me. I'd want them to have the subject matter expertise to be able to deliver on what they're saying they're going to be able to deliver. And then I'd want them to be there to continually deliver value to me. So all I did was, as a very young man, I saw a need in the retirement planning space, and then I developed a business on some very core principles that I think I would want if I were in your shoes. And then we built a fantastic team with a fantastic culture, with a bunch of fantastic human beings that adhere to those core principles, and we continue to provide more and more value, and that's how we've grown to the size that we've grown at this day.
You know, and you also have mentioned on previous shows, you don't pack your calendar.
No, that's the other difference between us and other firms out there. I'm not trying to do volume here. I want to do quality. And you know, I'll tell people, and this is the other thing, I have people that work for me that actively disqualify people that reach out to us. And it's not based on the amount of money you have. It's based on whether or not you're going to respect what we do. Because I'm a human being too. And I want people to value the effort and time and energy and care that we place in delivering a result for people. We keep this calendar sparse because I want to be able to take the time and energy to do it the right way. You know, I was taught as a young man to do things the right way. Not to do it halfway, not to hope it's going to work, to do it the right way. And so that's what we do for our clients.
And you're spending time.
Yeah.
And time is precious. And you know, they are coming to you with what they need, and you're spending time with them to make sure that you can map it out for them.
It's their frickin' life, man.
Yeah.
It's their life. This is not like, these people are not numbers. You're not a number, you're a human being. You deserve somebody that cares. You deserve a team that cares. You deserve people that know what they're talking about, that are going to help you. It's your life. You know, these are not dollars and decimal points on a piece of paper. This is your time and energy.
Yeah.
You know?
It's your end game, and there's an opportunity for you right now. We are up against it, and that means our time is up for today. We're going to be back next week, but if you are looking, you know, for, you know, peace of mind we talk about so often here on the program in your retirement, you know, don't hesitate. You know, call this number now. It is on your screen. The lines are open 24/7. A representative will talk to you. You can also visit the website, RetireSHIELD.tv, for your free copy of Casey's book, Baby Boomer Retirement Boot Camp, or to have a personalized RetireSHIELD plan created for you by Casey and his amazing team of financial advisors.